Well, Roots has reported its earnings, and like other retailers who have been lucky in this pandemic, it managed to show a strong increase in its e-commerce sales, trying to offset, of course, the expected decline it has seen in in-store sales. Meghan Roach is the CEO who joined the firm after this pandemic, or at least as CEO, after this pandemic began. Meghan, thank you very much for being with us. And I did want to start right there. I mean, the idea of trying to shepherd, even as iconic a brand as Roots, through this period, how difficult has that been?
Well, I mean, listen, Amanda, it's a great brand to start with. So from that perspective, it was a great business for me to join. I think one of the things that people also forget about Roots is the fact that we really had a robust e-commerce platform coming into the pandemic. So, we were already doing over 20% of our sales from e-commerce in 2019. And coming into the pandemic, we already had the capabilities to do, ship from our store. So they were fulfillment hubs, curbside pickup, and also using our distribution center with a consolidated retail and e-commerce inventory to fulfill stores or online. So we were really able to shift during the pandemic to really serve the needs of the consumers in whichever they wanted. And I think the second thing is that, we're seeing in the pandemic a lot of people shift towards casual clothing. And from a Roots perspective, we have a great portfolio of sweats, but also really wonderful fleece products. And I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a lot more people who are wearing, sweatpants from the work from home perspective. And so that was also really good for us. And the final thing is, when I came in, one of the big things I was focused on, the team has been focused on, is really just discipline around promotional cadence, which has really helped to improve our margins, as well as discipline around cost management and also cost efficiencies, which have really helped us, I think, throughout the year.
You do, though, face the same closure, re-lockdown across the country that other retailers are grappling with, while some of your big rivals, right, some of the things that you would sell a huge volume of in these few weeks, this all-important pre-holiday season, will be sold by Walmart and Costco. What's your kind of message, if you have one, to policymakers about retailers like Roots?
Well, I think that we're, again, in a lucky position because our products are all proprietary, right? We sell only Roots products in our online stores and in our physical retail stores. So from that perspective, we're continuing to see a lot of demand for the stuff that we offer, and you can't really get Roots anywhere else, which is great. I think what I would say is that the pandemic has obviously been very challenging for retailers big and small, and it's important for us all to band together during this challenging time. And so, businesses like Roots that have a robust e-commerce platform are obviously going to be able to manage some of that shift, but others will struggle a little bit more, particularly, local retailers that don't have a digital presence. So I think we're well positioned to get through the pandemic and continue to operate while our stores are closed. But obviously, it's really due to the fact that we have a great product portfolio that's proprietary to us and also a really strong omnichannel platform.
Have you, as you say, this the kind of jump in e-commerce and fulfillment that you've gone through here it'll stay in place, right? You'll permanently shift some of your sales there. How much of a ramp up was that in terms of like warehousing and distribution and sourcing and all of that? How hard was it to do, and how much will you benefit from that as you look forward?
Well, we put a big investment into our distribution center last year. So we actually moved from 2 physical retail distribution centers, 1 retail and 1 e-commerce at the end of 2019. So as I mentioned before, we were really well positioned to take advantage of the current trends with the shift from retail to digital. Our omnichannel platform already had the capabilities to do curbside, already had the capabilities to ship from our stores, and having one pool of inventory shared across retail and e-commerce really allowed us to, again, when e-commerce retail stores were closed, shift to e-commerce pretty seamlessly, which was pretty fantastic. So we were well prepared coming into the pandemic to be able to handle that. And we're continuing to look to see where we need to make investments to keep our omnichannel platform robust. But we were quite in a lucky position because we'd made a lot of the investments historically also.
You have closed the bulk of your U.S. stores, or made the decision to close the bulk of your U.S. stores. What does the growth in the U.S. market look like for Roots at the moment?
Yeah, listen, we made the decision to close the stores because those stores were obviously loss-making. So from a profitability perspective, it was the right decision. In this quarter alone, we saved $2.5 million from closing our U.S. store. So that was a great decision for us on that part. I think if you look to the growth in the U.S. market, we're seeing growth actually from a digital perspective. So we continue to see robust growth in that market, despite the fact that we have fewer stores. And on a go-forward basis, we'll be continuing to look to the U.S. market as an area for growth.
And what about international? Asia has obviously been an interesting place of potential growth for Roots. How is that looking now?
Well, we have a really strong platform already in Taiwan, where we've been in the market for over 15 years. And, again, that continues to be an area of strength for us. As we look out, we'll continue to look to areas to invest, in some of the broader markets within Asia, China being an area that we do see potential. Right now, it's a small part of our business, but over the longer term, there's definitely room for growth. So we do think that there's opportunity for roots outside of the country. But, we really think we have a great platform in Canada that we continue to expand upon. And also the U.S. also represents some good opportunities for us as we go forward.
So, obviously, as you note, you are capitalizing on a brand that is known and stands alone. I'm imagining the margin differential between in-store retail and direct-to-consumer is pretty big. In other words, you'll make a lot more money on direct-to-consumer. What's the kind of symbiotic relationship, though, of needing a brick-and-mortar presence to reinforce the brand in order to get that direct-to-consumer business, keep it going?
We actually have a great profitability across our stores and our e-commerce business, which is, great. I think especially as you mentioned, being a retailer, we have a lot of control over our own pricing. And so our margins are healthy. One of the things we look at in terms of our platform is that we're really just serving the customers in the way they want to be served today. So whether that's in our physical retail stores or on our online presence, we're giving them flexibility to come to us in the best way possible. And I think what's interesting is, we do a lot of frequent customer surveys, and our customers are telling us that it is important to have a physical retail presence. They do want to touch and feel the products. And so it's something that we're going to continue to invest in. So I don't think it's going away. I think we're going to be smart about where we make our investments in the retail business. And we've done some pop-ups this year, right? We've taken advantage of some of the traffic we're seeing in specific locations to serve, showcase our product collection in a different way. And obviously, the rents are attractive given the landscape we're seeing in some of the malls and other locations. So we're going to continue to be flexible and continue to look at it that way.
It's great to have you today, Meghan. We appreciate your time. Meghan Roach is the CEO of Roots.